In yesterday's video, we discussed the best signings of the season, including the first transfer window in the summer and then the January transfer window as well. And we saw some absolute bangers, some fantastic signings. Well, today, I'm feeling a lot better, but we're going into negative. I'm feeling more positive. I'm not so sick anymore. Career mode will be back soon, guys. But today we're going into negative transfers. Transfers that just did not work out. Transfers that were so expensive for such little gain for the clubs that spent that money. And actually, we've got players here that have joined for tens of millions and they've only played like 10 games. And there's one particular player that moved for almost 60 million and has one goal. I think you guys know who that's going to be. Let's get into the first one. It is CUCRELLA. 65.3 million euros. All of these numbers I'm getting from transfermarkt.com, by the way, so it's as accurate as I can find. CUCRELLA, oh my God. It's weird because so good at Brighton. He was fantastic at Brighton. He's a Barcelona academy player, right? I think he came through the Barcelona ranks, and there's no doubt there's a player in there. He's technically a very good player, I think, at times, but for whatever reason, just like many other Chelsea signings, it just hasn't worked out. 65. Oh my God. They got scammed. They actually got scammed. Just look at the picture. This is his official picture on the Premier League website. Yeah, it has not gone very well for CUCRELLA. They signed him to, I think, basically be a very versatile option down that left side, whether it's a left wing back, a left back, or even a left centre back. But every position, he sucks. He's just had a really, really bad season. So for me, CUCRELLA is one of the worst signings of the season. Up next, maybe a little bit controversial, this one, but Leeds paid 33 million euros for AARONSON. And when I saw that, I thought, okay, he's a good player, but Leeds are going to probably go down. It's not unlikely at this point. And he would have been one of their signings of intent to help keep the club in the Premier League, get loads of goals and assists, and yeah, hasn't worked out. I think AARONSON is a good player, but for that kind of price, he has to go down as a failure of a signing because he hasn't done enough. But I'm not saying he's one of the worst. I think it's fair, though, to put him in this list at least because of that price. I think if he had moved for 20, 25 million, maybe you would look at this and think, oh, it's not too bad, but it's almost 35 million euros for a player that just hasn't been good enough. However, I think in a couple of seasons, whether it's at Leeds or not, he will come good. I think he's a talented player, but he is definitely a failure of a signing. Up next, we have another midfielder. Is AARONSON a midfielder? I think he's attacking midfielder. This time we're looking at a defensive midfielder, and that is PHILLIPS. Leeds got a lot of money for him, though, so they've invested in AARONSON some of that money, most of that money, but 49 million euros Man City paid for PHILLIPS. Woo, that's a lot of money for a player that I think Pep quite literally called fat. He called him fat. I think PHILLIPS picked up quite a few injuries, and clearly that hasn't helped with his match fitness, shall we say. And again, there's no doubt there's a good player in there. There's a reason he's got so many caps for England now. There's a reason he went for such big money. And he's got that English tax, let's be honest. And he might be absolutely fine next season if he gets more minutes. But how's he going to get into this City side? Maybe with Gundogan leaving now, if they don't bring in someone, maybe PHILLIPS is going to slide into midfield a little bit more. I don't see it. Rodri's too good. I think Rodri is such a good player that no one in world football could play ahead of him in that position, which is where PHILLIPS wants to play. But yeah, you've got to say for half a 100 million euros price tag, it's a ridiculous amount of money for a player that just hasn't done anything. What's he done this season? Nothing. Up next, again, very controversial. I think I'm going to get quite a lot of hate for this one. Antony for 95 million euros. And that's it. 95 million euros. He's a good player. I like him. I think, although he's very one-footed and that can really hurt a winger, you do need to have both feet, I think, at an adequate level. But there are a lot of players like him that are inverted wingers and they only want to go onto that strong foot. And I do get that. And he's very good with that left foot. He has scored some really nice goals with that left foot. If he was, I would say 60, 70 million, I would say, okay. Brazilian, very young, came from Ajax, who we all know plays great football. And there's no doubt, though, for 95 million euros, they haven't quite got that player. I don't think so, anyway. And do you know what? I'm still hurt about the Pepe transfer for Arsenal, which was, 72 million. He got absolutely battered by rival fans. But trust me, okay, go and look at Pepe's first year at Arsenal and look at Antony's first year at Manchester United. And that is all I will say. I don't think he's worth 95 million euros, that's for sure. Up next, though, we have Gordon. Now, I kind of like him as a player. I think he's quite an electric player, a little bit unpredictable. But it's Gordon, and I mean, okay, he had. Let's be honest. He had 10 pretty good games at Everton where he looked like he was their best player. They gave him the number 10 shirt. He was part of the reason they stayed up last season with Lampard, but I hated the way he left Everton. The way he said, oh, they've got a good fee for me. Hopefully that will help the club. What? You don't say, oh, they got some good money for me. You don't really say that. I don't think I like him. And I think for that price, we should have seen something by now. But all we've seen is him storm off. I think it was against Southampton, was it? He stormed off the pitch when he got subbed. Didn't really want to shake anyone's hands. He was angry. And I get that it's annoying and you don't want to be subbed, but that stinks. And I hate that. 45.6 million euros. It's a lot of money for a player that, again, what's he done? He's getting benched by Murphy. Okay, and Murphy's a good player. Up next, though, it is the number one spot. It had to be Richarlison. Oh, my God, it's glorious. Richarlison, 58 million euros, and they had to wait until April. Was it even? It might have been the beginning of May, actually. When did they play at Anfield? Tottenham, I think it was the end of April. They had to wait till the end of April to get their first Premier League goal from Richarlison. 58 million euros. One goal in the Premier League. Absolutely astonishing stats. And no doubt about it, he has been the flop signing of the season. I'm not just saying that because I'm an Arsenal fan and that I hate Tottenham. But Richarlison is a stinker of a signing. I just cannot believe how shafted they got. Fair play to Everton. And the thing is, right, Richarlison could have joined Arsenal, okay, and had the same result. He could have had one goal. I don't think that would have been the case. But I would have been sitting here when that signing went through going, oh, yeah, Richarlison, he's a good player. There's a reason he starts for Brazil. There's a reason Everton and Watford paid such good money for him. But no one saw this come in. He has quite literally had a stinker. And another one for Tottenham, BISSOUMA. No one's talking about this. It's not the craziest amount of money, but what has happened to one of the hottest prospects in Premier League football? Brighton, everyone was talking about BISSOUMA. BISSOUMA. All the Arsenal fans, including myself, wanted BISSOUMA. He went to Tottenham and I was fuming. I was so disappointed. I couldn't believe that they were stealing him from Arsenal. And what's he done? Again, just nothing. He's been injured, yeah, fair enough. It's not the worst amount of money to spend on a player that has quality, and maybe he'll be fine next year, but damn, Tottenham really did not have a good window, and BISSOUMA was a flop signing. And Caicedo is everything that BISSOUMA was and more. Up next, it's an actual scam. SCAMACCA. Sassuolo got 36 million euros from West Ham. And the guy doesn't even want to be in England anymore. I think he realised within a month or two, no, I don't like the weather. I'm going back to Italy. The reports are he will sign for a Juventus or someone like that. I don't know if he's good enough for Juventus or Inter or AC Milan or whoever, but there's no doubt with SCAMACCA you've got the blueprint of a very good striker. He was very good at Sassuolo. He was getting into the Italian national team. He's a tall, physical player with a good strike. And there's no doubt that I think he'll go back to Italy and actually prove himself again. It just hasn't worked at West Ham, and he has to go down as a flop signing. Can you argue with me? I don't think so. I think SCAMACCA was a scam of a signing. 36 million euros. If West Ham went down this season, I think he would have been a big reason for that, because they put so much money out for a striker and didn't get the striker they were looking for. But West Ham have been fine, and please give us Declan Rice. Anyway, we're going to move on into the last one now. And again, no one's really talking about it, but Guedes. What happened here? Valencia sold him to Wolves for 32.6 million. You're thinking, right, yeah, another Portuguese signing. The guy played 12 games for Wolves. 12. He got 1 goal. And then he was loaned out. It might have been 10 games, actually. I'm trying to remember when I put this together. Either way, a ridiculously low amount of time on the pitch for the amount of money they've spent. And the thing is, right, yeah, okay, they still own Guedes. They still could sell him, but he is nowhere near worth 30 million euros now. They've lost a lot of money on this player. I don't know how he's getting on his current loan, but I thought he would come into the Premier League with Wolves and do quite well. I thought he would do very well, actually, on that left side, cutting in, playing as a striker sometimes. And Wolves, we didn't realise, obviously they've done very well since they've signed their new manager, Lopetegui, but before then, we didn't realise how bad they were going to be. It was a perfect storm for him, wasn't it? Signed for a new team, they sucked, he left. Who knows what's going to happen with Guedes, but again, though, we're going to leave it with the worst. It has to be Richarlison. He is the flop signing of the season. Tottenham have had a woeful season in general, and I'm very pleased with that. Anyway, like I said, guys, I am feeling a lot better today. I'm still a bit full of cold and whatever, but I'm going to be bringing back the career mode soon. We've actually only got one more episode left of the current season, so we'll finish off that season in that episode, and then we'll be ready to go back into the new season. But yeah, it's been a really tough week. A lot of people don't remember, I'm type 1 diabetic as well, so whenever I get sick, my body just shuts down. I've had a really long few days of just so much fatigue. Honestly, I know it's just playing FIFA and talking, but honestly, I've had nothing, guys. So I've really needed a couple of days rest. So I really appreciate the support. So many people were messaging me, hoping the videos come back and all that stuff. So I've managed to get these 2 videos done yesterday and today. Hopefully it's just something for you guys to watch until I'm back. I think the career mode will return on Monday. We've got Arsenal on Sunday, of course. So until then, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.